Right, 1212. Good evening. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, VK3 EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3 CSJ in Narre Warren South. Very pleasant good morning, good evening, in fact, to everybody that's tuned in and waiting with bated breath to hear my dulcet tones. You don't have to, though. This is VK3 CSJ on the microphone and bidding everybody a pleasant good evening. Right, we're here finally, and we've only just got a very short broadcast tonight. Well, I always still make it an hour, but nevertheless. All right, one of the reasons for the slight delay tonight is I've lost one of my little black cats. I've got two little black kittens, just over a year, about 18 months old, and Samantha and Tess. I've got Samantha, Sam, don't know, she's around the place, but can't find Tess. Like it's typical for a cat to curl up in a dark corner somewhere, and she didn't come out for tea, so a little bit worried. Not sure where she's got to. Anyway, that's enough of that. She'll show up by the end of the evening, I'm sure. Anyway, all right, on the 7th of February, and yes. All right, let's see. Now, where am I heading to tonight? There's a few little articles that I'll rip through that I managed to put together fairly quickly. We're not only broadcasting on 3541 kilohertz in the 80 metre amateur radio band, the prime frequency, which has been like that since 1988. But we're also broadcasting via the Melbourne television repeater, VK3 RTV, Digital Channel 1. I'm struggled to get a picture through it just a moment ago, but it's finally there. Which you can see if you've got a set-top box that's capable of manually tuning 445.5 megahertz DVB-T2 as in HD, or if you've got a smart TV that's capable of also tuning in to the output of the repeater DVB-T, which some are capable of doing. It's vertical polarization, 100 odd watts. Vertical polarization, if you turn your beams towards Mount View, which is the place just behind the police academy, and see if you can see something. More information about the repeater as such can be found on Amateur Radio Victoria website, ARV. Just Google search ARV and look for the page dedicated to the ATV repeater, and all will be revealed. We're also on Discord, so if you register on Discord, that's a fairly simple process. Generally it should be. If it's the first time in registering on Discord, it should be relatively easy, painless, some painful to some, but there's no money involved. It's just simply registering. Then if you go to my qrz.com page, I provide a link, a universal type link, I suppose you could call it, which will get you straight to the astronomy chat room, and also the HD stream, which is running there. And of course, the reason why I promote that is the HD stream on Discord runs about a second or less than a second delay to what you're hearing on 80 meters, unlike YouTube, which takes something up to 20 seconds before it correlates. But that's all right. So, as you know, most of the broadcast I do has a certain amount of graphic information. so sounds funny when I say that, but there's usually graphics associated, pictures and graphics in general. So it always helps to tune in to one of the many video sources that I provide here for the broadcast as such. We also have an email address, vk3ekh@gmail.com, vk3ekh@gmail.com, if you wish to send a signal report or a general comment to say, yes, we're watching. So that's where I'm looking at the moment. And I want to thank Stephen, VK3SBX, with your information you've supplied over the week for Andrew, VK3KIS. It's been a bit interesting read about an image of Jupiter that Andrew took. So Mr. SPX is an experienced astrophotographer. So thanks, Steve, for that, if you're there listening. Okay. All right. Let's just get into the usual blurb. Can I do that here, just without mucking around too much more? No, I don't want to do that. Just bear with me for a sec while I find the page that I'm interested in. That'll do. All right. For those that are tuning in for the first time, the ASV is a non-for-profit society for people interested in astronomy, attracting and catering for people from a wide range of ages and backgrounds, abilities and interests. First formed in 1922, the society has grown to over 1,000 members. It's hovering around 1,800 members, I think, at the moment. Its activities are coordinated by council-elected office bearers, section directors or team leads, and ordinary councillors. The ASV has weekly activities at our two metropolitan locations, Morley Community Village and the Melbourne Observatory. And they host monthly astro talks at the Herbarium near the Melbourne Observatory. The Society's library is also located at the Melbourne Observatory, an amazing place to be. Which reminds me, I have a book that I was meant to donate. I promised I'd donate Carl Sagan's daughter's, Sasha Sagan's latest book that she's done, which I mentioned last week. And I was going to, because I have an extra copy here that arrived, I'm not sure how I did that, but I ended up buying 2 copies of the book. So I've decided I'll donate the Sasha. It's a nice name, I like that, Sasha Sagan's book to our ASV library. Okay. For over 50 years, the ASV has played a major role in the care of buildings, facilities at the Melbourne Observatory. Our members conduct astronomy for the people gatherings throughout the year. It's a bit like the American version of sidewalk astronomy. Sidewalk. Bringing telescopes and astronomy to Melbourne's parks and schools. To find out when these events are actually occurring, you can refer to the ASV's website calendar page for any up-and-coming astronomy for the people gatherings, because they're generally open to the public, so folks can come up and look through a telescope if the sky is clear that night. The ASV is currently involved in a number of major projects. We are involved in the restoration of the Great Melbourne Telescope, ongoing. I think it's envisaged at 2027. We're looking at getting that telescope, which was horribly destroyed by the bushfires in Canberra, up on that hill. I forget the name of the hill right now. Anyway, it's made its way to Science Works, and that's where it's being worked upon by a team of incredible smart people, and we're looking at, I think, 2027 to finally getting that shipped to its original home at the Melbourne Observatory, and it will be a working telescope so public can look through it. At least I think so. So yes, Great Melbourne Telescope, and there's also a series of remote domes at the dark sky site, which are now pretty much up and running. the ASV has worked on. So if you become a member of the ASV, you can get involved with being able to register to operate one of the remote observatories from home. I'm not sure what the criteria is to being able to sign up to do that, but I'm sure there's a registration page of some sort for members to buy some time, not money wise, but just buy some time to use the remote observatory with probably some training or procedures that need to be followed. Thanks to a generous donation from one of the most long-standing and respected members, the Leon Mao Dark Sky site. Leon Mao was a long-term member of the ASV back many, many years ago. He had a property up at the Dark Sky site, up at Heathcote, which he donated to the ASV, and that is now our Dark Sky site. Some 30 acres, I think. 30 hectares or 30 acres, can't quite recall now. But it's a sizable location and has quite a few things happening there. Club rooms, there's accommodation if you want to stay overnight. You have to book those rooms if you remember, of course. There's a 25-inch and a 40-inch telescope. And there's also a 16-inch telescope for i.e. for wheelchair accessible telescope. So if you're in a wheelchair, the place has actually gone under some renovations over the years to make the site accessible to, for instance, to people that might be in a wheelchair. Previous to that, it was just gravel or just exposed ground, but there's been dedicated paths put in so that all corners of the property can be basically reached fairly easily. That's good stuff. There's also a fully steerable radio telescope, an 8.5 metre, 30-footer Kennedy dish telescope. That's operational, and it has a hydrogen line receiver spectrometer operating at the focal point, and all sorts of interesting things are coming from that. So there's a great team, a radio astronomy team that's now together and looking at the data coming from that. So you can get involved with that if you become a member. And what else is there? There's an annual yearbook, which is this guy here. If you become a member, so this is the one for 2024. I don't know. I should have the 25 around here somewhere. But that's the yearbook. It's kind of like an almanac of sorts. But if you're doing genuine observing, this is something that you would need to have for those watching TV. And you can see the ASV's insignia just there. If I can get that in focus. No, which way am I going? I'm looking at the off-air monitor, which has got a slight delay to it. Anyway, that comes with the membership. And there's a bi-monthly newsletter also produced called Crux, which I have just here as well. This newsletter, which used to be called a magazine, actually a newsletter. It was called a newsletter, but it's now called a magazine of sorts. And that's the Crux magazine, which I'm showing on camera now. And I think that's the latest one, actually. So, and there's that's Parkes Radio Telescope there. But it's a glossy little magazine, and if you bury your nose in the middle of it, it's worn its fresh smell. But I usually like the smell of it when it's brand new. It's the gorgeous smell. So yes, so you can get all that. The ASV logo, which I showed just a moment ago, is the Southern Cross and pointers, and it has a Latin motto, which, when translated to English, is This Way to the Stars. Okay. The ASV is governed by a set of rules which should be read before applying for membership. And the document may be downloaded by clicking here. Well, that's what it says, but if you go to the website, you'll find it. In fact, I don't think that link's working very well. Any person or organisation with an interest in astronomy may apply for membership of the Society. The current president of the ASV is Mark Ascario. He's been there for a couple of years now with his coloured hair. So good on you, Mark. So just checking a few things here. I might just mention the sections. There are many sections, a few sections at least. Let me go back to that. There we go. So we have the astrophotography section, which is probably the biggest section out of them all. The club section, comet and meteor section, computing section, cosmology and astrophysics, deep sky, historical section, instrument making, juniors for the juniors, lunar and planetary, new astronomers group, radio astronomy, solar astronomy, space exploration, and that's a very active Facebook page. Good on you, Kate. Every day there is multiple articles being posted on the Facebook page for space exploration. Kate does a marvellous job at bringing the latest information to the fore, and there's a little bit of a story on that coming up. Women in ASV is a dedicated section to those ladies that are interested in astronomy. So those sections can be found under the sections tab of the ASV's homepage, or website at least. And each section that I've just read out is actually an individual page if you click on it. And as far as I know, you don't necessarily have to be a member straight away. If you get in contact with the section director for those particular sections and express an interest in wanting to sit in on a meeting or whatever it is involved, I'm sure the section director will say, yeah, sure, pop in, have a see, and if it interests you, then the section director can introduce you to how to become a member and what's involved and costs and all that sort of stuff too. But I was involved with the radio astronomy section back from 1993 to 1990. Around about 1993, 94 is when I started. And for a little while, I was just a what's the term? I can't think of a term right now, but I was so fascinated in radio astronomy that I just rolled up to the meeting at Paris Street in Burwood, where it used to be, and the section director at the time was Lockie Creswell. G'day, Lockie, if you're listening, but probably not. But anyway, the enthusiasm amongst the members was electric, and we had such great fun in being able to sit around the table at Paris Street and talk about almost anything, mainly radio astronomy, and a few things to get up to and do. And in those early days, it was one of the main things that was about to occur at that time was the impact on Jupiter with the comet Shoemaker-Levy, the 919 fragments. 919. Anyway, the fragments that impacted on Jupiter and in the upper atmosphere, and there was some notion that might be able to receive the explosive emission, radio emission of these impacts. So that set us all into experimental mode by setting up receivers tuned to 20 megahertz thereabouts, plus or minus, with the hope that maybe we'd be able to detect these impacts on radio, which we did. And Doug MacArthur, the late Doug MacArthur, VK3UM, had his big dish set up, focused at Jupiter at 400 megs, and he also detected, to his amazement, these impacts as they occurred. NASA provided a rough idea of when the time of these impacts were going to occur. And so there we all were, either at home or out in the country somewhere. Even Monash University set up a dedicated receiver up at the Mount Burnett Observatory, which was at the time being run by Monash. They organised for a dipole across the reservoir that's just up there next to the observatory. And they had a receiver running about a couple of months or so prior to the event, and so they developed a baseline, and then of course the receiver was kept running during the whole event. And so Monash up there at Mount Burnett Observatory were quite involved in doing that observatory observing of the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. It was an exciting time. It just completely blew me away with the whole idea of being able to receive these radio emissions coming in from Jupiter as such, and of course that led to decametric emissions from Jupiter, which is the so-called Jupiter storm activity. It's another story. But nevertheless, I was involved with radio astronomy since the radio astronomy section since 1993, and eventually became a member of the ASV. So that's what I'm alluding to. It was a good time, and we were also involved in a 4.5. How quick this half hour's already gone. Involved with a 4.5 meter, 4.6 meter Andrews dish, solid surface dish up at a location in Officer, and I think for a number of years we all mucked around with that, and it's just unfortunate that we could never get that dish relocated to the dark sky site. I'm not even sure about what eventually became of that dish. That's another story too. Anyway, but there it is. The radio astronomy section has developed well and truly over the years, and it's looking good. What's happening up at Heathcote, the dark sky site now, and I believe that even some of the professional astronomers at the Parkes Radio Telescope have expressed a bit of an interest in the telescope. So be looking forward to seeing what outcome from all that occurs. Apart from all that, so that's the ASV. Now, coming up on the 12th of February, which is next Wednesday, the ASV are conducting their Astro Talk, which is the monthly meeting, which is free. You can pop in at the monthly meeting in Melbourne, which is held at Mullior Hall, or the National Herbarium. Meetings start pretty much right on the noggin at 8 o'clock and aim to finish at 10. And if the sky is good, there will be a possibility of being able to observe if people are available through one or two of the telescopes, Melbourne Observatory telescopes, but also the library is open too. So if you want to visit the library, that'll be open before and after the meeting for about half an hour or so. But what I'm alluding to is that the monthly meeting next Wednesday, we've got Professor Matthew Bales, who will explore the world of fast radio bursts and share with us his knowledge in the field. Professor Matthew Bales is a former Australian Research Council Laureate Fellow and the Director of the Australian Research Council Centre of Excellence for Gravitational Wave Discovery, or AUSGRAV. He is a world leader in the discovery and timing of millisecond pulses and has made pivotal contributions to the discovery of fast radio bursts. Kinematic millisecond duration bursts of radio waves that strike the Earth many thousands of times per day are of unknown origin. In 2023, this was recognised when he was awarded the Shaw Prize in Astronomy. and that'll be followed by Bill Stent's talk on what's up in the sky for February and March. And I'll broadcast that, if I can, next Wednesday on the Melbourne television repeater as well. It's a free talk, open to the public. They're asking to arrive around 7:45 and just walk in and sit down. But it will be being televised on the Facebook, ASV's Facebook video channel, and also on the YouTube channel. And it'll be the YouTube feed that I'll grab to run over the Melbourne television repeater. So that's next Wednesday. Professor Matthew Bales talking about fast radio bursts. You're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria. Right. Now, let me just check my emails and see if there's anybody there. There is an email from Andrew, VK3KIS. He's just checking in and saying Q5. Just started listening on YouTube. Okay, so I hope the audio level's okay. I always get a bit worried about the audio level on YouTube being a bit too much. But I know it's working on Discord, so let me have a quick look at Discord, and I can see that David, the resident astronomer at Mount Burnett Observatory, is there. Mr. KDM. G'day, Dave. Where is everybody else on Discord? My goodness me, I know there's a heap there, but it's hard to get them showing up as well. Anyway, all right. I was going to go on to Sky Notes, but I can see I'm already a little bit running out of time. Sky Notes is the monthly release about what's happening in the skies for February, or for a monthly newsletter produced by the Melbourne Museum, the Planetarium at Science Works, which you can subscribe to and get sent to your email. Now, I did read all that out last week, all the information that I think Tanya Hill, who compiles it all, has supplied. But I'll just rest on that for the moment. Now, just a little thing here too, which has come to my notice. Where can I start with this? President Trump is making things a little bit difficult for a lot of people, and it appears that articles such as how can I read this? Articles such as NASA pauses work by key space science groups amid Trump's executive orders, by Tariq Malik, I think that's how you pronounce that bloke's name, and others similarly reporting as simple news on space front, are now subject to removal if they are not favourable to the incumbent president and government. Tariq Malik is the editor-in-chief at a reputable established space science site. So, as it says here, not someone who is lacking experience in journalistic integrity. So, moving forward, all news and articles and journals where possible will be, as demonstrated in the last 24 hours, removed by Facebook, Meta, X, formerly known as Twitter, and the like. Just reading ahead here a little bit in the text. How can I pick this up? Moving forward, it is going to be a challenge to report unbiased factual information from or on space agencies based in the USA. So this also means that it may end up being a sanctioned or banned from Facebook for simply trying to report unbiased factual content. That's coming from Kate, who runs the space exploration page for the ASV. She like I said before, she publishes a lot of science information and newsworthy stuff that comes in off the internet onto the Facebook page, and it appears that the US government is trying to stop information from being released to some degree. So it's a matter of just watch the space and see how this goes. There was another article here that Kate did release, which had a bit more information on it. Quite extensive article, actually, inside the NSF's effort to scour research grants for violations of Trump's orders. The US National Science Foundation has unfrozen grant funding, but it continues to scrutinise research projects, souring turmoil. The US National Science Foundation, a major funder of basic academic research, announced yesterday that it has reopened a website that distributes money from research grants to scientists. It's really it's something that's a little bit hard to journalise because there's a lot in this information, but nevertheless, as we all know, Trump's waving his golden pen, and he's causing a few issues. So how this overly affects being able to get interesting information from our science sources and astronomy sources, I'm not too sure, but it's not looking good for some strange reason. Thanks to Kate for that information that's there. I might try and to see if I can get some key information out of that, so I can summarise the article for next week. Didn't have time to do that today. All right, at 10:33, let me just go into the first article for tonight, which is an interesting one. In fact, g'day, John. He's Mr. De Kaiser. He's listening there, one of the members of the ASV, Radio Astronomy section as well. G'day, John. And I did see something pop up from Robert just a moment ago. I saw something pop up from him, so I think he might be listening too. So g'day, Rob. Where are you listening? Are you on Discord? No, you're not on Discord. Somewhere your little note popped up somewhere. I'm not sure what that might have been. It might have been Facebook. Where is the solar system heading, you might ask yourself? There's a picture associated with this article, and let me just grab that and throw that up on the screen so I'm finally get rid of me. That little arrow, for those watching the video side of this, that arrow, actually I'll go back to the article. The sun, the planets, and all other flotsam and jetsam that constitute the solar system are hurtling toward the star Lambda Hercules, some 370 light years away. Interesting. If you look up at the constellation Hercules, you are looking in the direction that Earth and the entire solar system is travelling. Specifically, we are heading toward the star Lambda Hercules, marked with the arrow in this photograph. Earth spins as it orbits the sun, and the whole solar system is orbiting the galactic centre. So, if I go outside and look up, in what direction are we heading, you might ask. When you gaze up the constellation Hercules, you are looking out the front window of the spacecraft called Earth. Isn't that interesting? That's I guess I have thought about that maybe at some stage, but now it's coming to an interesting thing here. So when you gaze up and look at the constellation Hercules, you are actually looking out the front window of the spacecraft called Earth. Our planet is hurtling at some 45,000 miles per hour, or 72,000 kilometers an hour, towards the star Lambda Hercules, which lies about 370 light years away. Textbooks often state the bright star Vega to generalize the direction, right? At This speed, and if Lambda Hercules remained in the same position, it would take some 5.5 million years to reach this point in space. It's not worth thinking about, so just enjoy the ride. The Sun, the planets, and all other flotsam and jetsam that constitutes the solar system are so insignificant that we can consider the entire mass a point in space. No matter where you might stand, on the Moon, Jupiter, Io, Pluto, or any location on Earth, you are still travelling in the same direction. We accept that our planet spins on its axis once a day, almost as a matter of faith. Not sure if that's the word I would use. Earth and the Moon gyrate around the Sun, completing a full orbit in approximately 365 days. Our planet experiences many other motions, such as precession and nutation, but none has any impact on the inexorable flight toward Lambda Hercules. There's more. The Sun and its attendant bodies slowly bob up and down through the Milky Way's arm. Our planetary system also orbits the galactic center about every 220 million years. Jeez. 220 million years. And don't forget that our galaxy is likely on a collision course with the Andromeda Galaxy M31. Our entire local cluster of galaxies is also in motion. And the best part, of course, is no motion sickness. Yes. It's Astronomy 101, all that, more or less. The universe is in constant motion one way or another. But the stars are very far apart. It's a Carl Sagan quote. Ah, boy. All right, you're tuned to ASV Radio, VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. We say a very pleasant evening to folks that have tuned in tonight. All right, next article. If I can just find it there. Oh, this is interesting. How does adaptive optics work? Astronomical observatories use several techniques to compensate for distortions in images caused by our atmosphere. Some of you might have noticed in some observatories, particularly located high up on mountains, like the ones at Atacama Desert, fire laser beams into the atmosphere. And the idea of that is, let me read the article. I won't carry on. There's actually an image here, so I shall bring this up. And the before and after. All right. In these images here, this pair of photos shows the same region of Carina Nebula, imaged without adaptive optics. The top image was taken using the 8.1 meter Gemini South telescope, using its Gemini multi conjugate adaptive optics system. The bottom was obtained with the 4 meter Vector M Bianco telescope. All right, so with adaptive optics, without adaptive optics, the text in what I've just read is not quite right, and I figured that. It says here that this pair of photographs shows the same region of Carina Nebula, imaged with, it's got here the word top in brackets, but it's actually bottom. It should be the bottom image they've got here. Imaged without adaptive optics and with adaptive optics. So you can see the difference straight away in that. Could a telescope be vibrated with the right frequency to counter the atmospheric twinkle of stars? Yes, it can. This is one facet of adaptive optics which astronomical observatories can use to compensate for distortions in astronomical images caused by our atmosphere. Let's set the stage first. Stars twinkle because on Earth we are observing them through the atmosphere. The air is a fluid, just like water, and its turbulent motions distort incoming light, much like the way objects at the bottom of a pool or pond appear distorted when you peer down at them. So, adaptive optics are designed to do just that, adapt to the changes of the atmosphere to essentially undo the turbulence and create a sharp, undistorted images. Professional observatories do this not by vibrating the telescope, but by subtly deforming the surface of the telescope's mirror to exactly the right way to create or straighten out the jumbled, distorted images they receive through the atmosphere. Deformable mirrors are built with many tiny actuators which push or pull on the mirror's surface spread across the backside of the mirror, typically the secondary. A specialized computer system that incorporates a device called a wavefront sensor then detects the shape of the incoming light waves and determines in real time how to deform the mirror to compensate. This is often done using a laser guide star, a strong laser beam shot into the sky that provides a perfect example star whose distortion is measured so that the system can correct for it. Essentially, the system knows what a laser spot on the sky should look like, so it measures the ways in which the observed spot differs and calculates how to change the mirror's surface so it will reflect a perfect spot, as expected. Adaptive optics seems generally run at about 1000 Hz, meaning measurements and corrections are made at 1000 times a second. The secondary can also be tilted or rotated to make additional adjustments as well. This is a more limited correction than deforming the mirror, though more like the vibrations you suggest, but it is still often used in tandem with a deformable mirror for additional image correction. Adaptive optics systems are now available for use on many major professional telescopes, though there are always limitations. The region of the telescope's field of view that can be corrected is usually much smaller than the entire field it is capable of seeing, although there are newer, more complex techniques that use multiple lasers or mirrors to improve this. These systems also historically operate in optical wavelengths, though their use in infrared observations is improving and increasing. Additionally, unless a telescope can generate its own laser-guided star, astronomers must rely on a bright field star near the object that they want to observe as a guide, which is not always available. Observatories that do use laser guide stars typically have aircraft detection systems built in to ensure that the laser never crosses the path of any planes flying overhead. If the safety system is not working or there is an aircraft passing by, the laser-guided star cannot be used, which is fair enough. Oh, I had a secondary image there to show. I should have brought that up while I was discussing that. This is the other image associated with that. So that shows what we're talking about in a kind of a block diagram. Yeah, I should have had that up while I was chatting that, but there it is. All right. This is VK3A ASV. Not quite. This is VK3EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, with the regular Friday night broadcast at 10:45. All right, let's see. What was the other thing I had here to bring up tonight? It looks like Putin has axed Yuri Borisov, head of Russia's space agency. I don't know, these people in power. You know, if it's not Trump, it's Putin. Borisov led Roscosmos for just 2.5 years. I've got a picture of this bloke. There he is. And it looks like he's enjoying the job. This was published 11 hours ago. So Putin sacked his job as the Director General. Former Russian Federal Space Agency Roscosmos Director General Yuri Bozorov in September 2023. That picture there. Russia has a new space chief. Russian President Vladimir Putin has dismissed Yuri Bozorov after 2.5 years, charge of the nation's space agency, and his replacement is a 39-year-old Dmitry Bakanov, which is this bloke, this chap, and so he's 39 years old, Dmitry Bakanov, who most recently served as Russia's deputy transport minister and led the state-backed Gonets satellite communication system from 2011 to 2019. So that's all I'll mention on that, I think. But all these upper echelon things that are changing, I tell you. All right, back to me for a second. Get rid of that. Now, the next article was to do with, So, here's a picture here too that I shall bring up. There it is. I think most folks will recognise this. Green hydrogen project threatens the pristine Coronel skies in Chile. Coronel skies in Chile. Details are emerging about the plant whose proposed location in the Atacama Desert is concerning astronomers. Not good. Just briefly, a proposed massive hydrogen fuel production project in Chile has astronomers galvanized in concern and opposition. One astronomer calls the possible Chilean facility a nightmare for the Paranal Observatory's dark skies. One study has found that the Paranal, located in Chile's Atacama Desert, has the darkest skies of any major astronomical research site. That would change if the plant, called INNA, is built. The European Southern Observatory, ESO, which operates the Paranal's astronomical instruments, released news of the hydrogen plant proposal recently. The project, spearheaded by AES Andes, part of the multinational energy company, would cover some 3,000 hectares, or more than 3 square miles, 28.5 square kilometres. It would only be between 3 to 7 miles, or 5 to 11 kilometres, from the Paranal telescopes, and close to the Cerro Arma zones, where the ESO is already building an extremely large telescope, ELT, to be the world's largest optical instrument. Paranal's very large telescope, VLT, and interferometer themselves have been active for more than 25 years. The proposed project is a green hydrogen facility that would produce hydrogen using renewable energy. The hydrogen can be used for fuel, fertilizer, and other needs. The AES website claims it is a critical fuel for the future to reach net zero as hydrogen demand, adoption of clean technologies, and economic opportunity to continue to increase. Construction, if approved, would begin in 2 years, last for 5, then the facility seeing a 4-decade operational life. Now, there's more to that article, but just thought I'd mention that the pristine skies that astronomers have up at the Atacama Desert may be under threat, which is unbelievable to think they would do that. There it is. All right, back to vMix. This is VK3EKH. Next thing to bring up. Oh yeah. Okay. Just as we turn towards getting into the space weather article, there's no report from Tabitha tonight. For those watching the video, this is the latest chart for our solar flux and sunspot peak. So as you can see, we haven't quite reached solar max if you go by the graph, but this is live. This is looking actually at the website in real time. It's not an image I took several hours ago. So you can see that the solar peak has occurred there just a few months ago, but it's the trend. If you look at the trend line there, you can see that the solar maxima is still out to occur. So solar maxima is still, if you go by that graph, it's still a possibility that we're still expecting some amazing things from our star, our own personal star that we all own. Anyway, and of course the chart below that is the radio flux actually. So the top one is the sunspot number, and the bottom chart is the radio flux, which mirror each other. So there it is. That's the latest chart on the screen there. And as I say, if you look at the trend line, we're still actually to reach the absolute maxima, even though some media outlets say that we've already got there. It all depends on the recorded data, really. The trend is just mathematically produced. So the peak may have come. It may be now on the decline. But if you look at the trend line, we're still yet to reach that peak, if it's of any guide, at least. All right. Now let's see what's the next thing after this. We go into. Oh yeah, just a little bit of a plug for Mount Burnett. I've got a homepage here to bring up. All right, so Mount Burnett presents. The next public event is on the 14th of February. It's called Bubbly Beneath the Stars. It's a couples-only event. Of course, the 14th of February. It's Valentine's Day. Oh, my goodness me. Anyway, so the 14th of February, Mount Burnett is having a public event, and it's titled Bubbly Beneath the Stars. So that's 14th of Feb. And our next member event is Members Nights at the Observatory, which is the 8th of February, and that happens to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. So look, if you want more information about what is happening at the Mount Burnett Observatory, which is about a 20-minute drive from where I am here up in the hills, just go to the website at mbo.org.au, mbo.org.au for the Mount Burnett Observatory. As mentioned before, it used to be previously owned by the Monash University, but now it is a consortium of local astronomers that are keeping that observatory alive and well. Good on them. Very good. And I think there's a radio astronomy group up there too. I'm not sure what they're doing of late. But there is if you're interested in becoming involved at the Mount Burnett Observatory, there is also a radio astronomy group that's active up there as well. Now, to plug the other fellow that I often do, astrophys.com. Let me see. Yep, Brendan O'Brien. Each month, go back one more. We are now in our 10th year of production, Brendan says. We are now in our 10th year of production with over 200 fabulous interviews, fabulous and fantastic. We now call Brendan Mr. Fantastic. That's just a tongue-in-cheek thing there, Brendan. We are now in our 10th year of population with over 200 fabulous interviews with top scientists from all over the world. Each month we produce 2 fabulous episodes, one of the first of each month, which includes what he refers to as Dr. Ian Astroblog Musgrave, which gives a bit of a guide of what's happening in the sky. But anyway, this what you're seeing on the screen is episode 206. Episode 206, Dr. Elena Hyde and Julie Tommy at the Astrophiz Look at the Skies Under. Pardon me, Look at the Skies Down Under is the title of the article. So anyway, just pop along to astrophiz.com. That's Astrophiz with a PH. And Brendan will take you on a ride for an hour with these magnificent interviews that he curates. It's just excellent stuff. All right, now let's get into spaceweather.com. What's happening with space weather? Let me just bring up me again. That'll do. And straight to Astro Space Weather. Not Astro, we've done them for that. Okay, what's happening in spaceweather.com? The solar wind is currently at 439.3 kilometres a second at a density of 0.21 protons per cubic centimetre. The sun, which looks a bit like this at the moment, no, I didn't bring it across. I didn't bring it across. That's because I was looking for my little cat. I've lost my little cat somewhere. I don't know where she is. Let me just bring up the disk of the sun, which is there. And while I'm at it, I'll bring there's a couple of other images I've got to bring across. Browse, pictures. Oh my God. Pictures. There. Where are they all? Oh, God, this is such a headache sometimes, this program. The Aurora image. I've got to bring up the Aurora Australis. And also the other image here, which is the coronal, not coronial, but coronal hole. Okay, all right, that's what I wanted to show. So the sun is currently looking like this. So if we could see the sun right now with specialized telescope, this is how the sun would look. Those various sunspots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish, 10 designated sunspots are visible on the sun right now. This is as of the 7th of February. So the sunspot number is currently 169. The radio flux, the radio sun, measured at a wavelength of 10.7 centimeters, is currently 188 solar flux units. The aurora over the South Pole at the moment is looking as vaguely as this. Come on, go across. Oh, come on, go across. What are you doing? Thank you. My goodness me, this program. Okay, so as you can see, there's not much to talk about. There's not much solar activity at the moment that's making the aurora glow like we have in the past. So it's all very quiet conditions looking at that. So there's not much happening there. And the other interesting part, though, is the current coronal hole in the sun, which is an area where a lot of charged plasma particles is being emitted and can result in solar flare activity or solar geomagnetic storm activity on Earth, if anything was to be emitted from those regions, those dark regions. So going back to spaceweather.com, continued chance of flares. So so far this week, sunspot 3981, 3981, which was, let me just go back to the disk of the sun. 3181, yeah, that's the one over there in that top right-hand corner, a quadrant in the northeast location on that chart, if you go by that. They're saying here that so far this week, sunspot 3981 has produced more than 20 M-class solar flares, including 2 that almost reached category X. This activity is likely to continue today. The sunspot retains a delta-class magnetic field that harbors energy for frequent explosions. So yes, solar flares will continue to occur this next 24 hours or so. A big development in space weather forecasting. Picture this. A giant CME, coronal mass ejection, is heading straight for Earth, but no one knows it's coming. Forecasters have long worried about such a scenario. Our best early warning system for CMEs is a coronagraph on board the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, or SOHO. And there's an image here of this, which is a GIF file showing you a coronal mass ejection in real time when it was recorded, at least. So they're saying that our best early warning system for CMEs is a coronagraph on board the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, which was launched back in December 1995. How long can such an ancient spacecraft last, they're asking here. But apparently we can stop worrying. Yesterday, NOAA unveiled real-time data from its replacement, the CCOR-1 solar coronagraph on board GOES 19 satellite. So the GOES 19 satellite has a coronagraph on board. So apparently that's not so much a replacement, but will do the same job as the coronagraph on SOHO. And I suspect, yes it is, the image you're seeing on the screen right now is actually coming from GOES 19. So it's doing a marvelous job. This is a sample movie from February 6th. At the top of our far side, CME billows away from the sun's north pole, and near the bottom, star-like Mercury approaches the sun from a superior conjunction on the 9th of Feb. Oh yeah, so that little bright speck that you're seeing at the bottom there, that's Mercury. So yes, so things are afoot in that area. It's a great image, though, isn't it? Amazing stuff. Okay, what next is there to say here? Have a look. What else haven't I mentioned yet? K-index. Where's the K-index here? There it is. The planetary K-index is currently, the KP is currently 0.67, which is considered quiet. The 24-hour max KP figure is 2.67, which is also considered as quiet. All this information and explanation of these figures and data is also available on this website, spaceweather.com. You might remember that a few weeks ago that the data for the sunspot gathering information that you see on this sunspot image of the sun, the equipment was damaged by a flood at the building where all that information, all that research data and equipment is housed. And so for quite a few months there, a lot of the data and imagery of the sun and sunspots on the sun were being brought to spaceweather.com by citizen scientists or astronomers, amateur astronomers. Well, it looks like they've got their systems back online, because from what I can see on spaceweather.com, all the information that they usually get for providing these images of the sun and the like, looks like it's all been returned back to normal operation. So and that came about on the I did check the date. It was the 7th of January, if I remember correctly. The 7th of January, that data became available again on spaceweather.com. So, and finally, as of where are we? There. As of the 7th of February 2025, there were 2,349 potentially hazardous asteroids, but none of those particular asteroids are on a collision course with Earth. And there was a story about some rock that was heading towards Earth. I didn't really take too much creed to it, so I can't really say at the moment what that might have been. But I have seen some articles on it, and I think I will try and dig up something for next week's broadcast on what that's all about. So in the meantime, I think that's a conclusion for tonight's broadcast. Let me just check emails again. G'day, Steve. He's sent me a report there. Oh, excuse me. Bad lightning static. Yes, there is. Excuse me again. I had a quick look at the Melbourne radar, and there is an extremely amount of thunderstorm activity over the eastern side of Victoria, New South Wales, and Victoria. There's a lot of lightning activity going on over there, so that's making the band really, really noisy, I'm sure. So Andrew, John, and Stephen, thanks for sending me emails. And as far as Discord is concerned, we have also Steve on Discord, and of course Dave at Mount Burnett Observatory, Mr. KDM. All right, I think that's about it. So let me just get that set up and going. So now I will get my pad and do a quick call and see if there's any stations that wish to report in on tonight's broadcast. Where is my speaker here? I usually like to feed a little bit of audio over the digital stream so people can hear what's happening on 80 metres, and I think that should be working okay. This is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. VK3 EKH listening on 3541 kilohertz for any stations wishing to check in.
VK5 Kilo Tango at 2 Worlds.
VK3 Delta X-ray.
Victor Kilo 2 Mike Kilo Echo.
Okay. We've got VK5 KKT, VK3 Delta X-ray, VK2 MBC, I think it was, Mike Bravo Quebec, Charlie. Any other stations wishing to check in?
Yeah, Victor Kilo 2 Mike Kilo Echo.
Got that, Mike Kilo Echo. Sorry about that, lightning static was killing you a little bit. MKE, not a problem. All right. Seems a bit quiet tonight. I would have thought there might have been a few more stations there. But we'll see if we can dig up a few more folks. Just writing a couple of things here on the paper. Okay, VK5 KKT, Ian, have a say. VK3, good to hear you again. VK3 EKH.
Very good, thanks. VK3 EKH and the group there. This is VK5 double KT at 2 Worlds. Very good evening, or good Happy New Year to you, actually, Clint. First time I've spoken to you this year. Hope you're settling back into the routine. During the broadcast. I didn't hear it all, unfortunately. I was a little bit interrupted tonight, but we tried to listen where we could. It's all very much appreciated anyway. Nice cool evening over here at Two Worlds. About 18 degrees outside now. We've had some very hot weather over the last few days. And clear sky at the moment, quite a starry sky out there. Back to you, Clint, and thank you very much for the VK3 EKH of the group. You're tuned to VK5 double KT at Two Worlds, over.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. VK5 KKT at Two Worlds. Each time you say that, it sounds like you're saying two worlds. It just sounds like two worlds, but it's actually two wells, as in holes in the ground. Two wells. Anyway, yeah, thanks, Ian, for calling in tonight. It's great to hear you, and I think this is the second broadcast for this year so far. I was planning to come back on the 24th of January, but I've just gone back to work. I had 4 weeks off work, and that first week back at work was very tiring, and I came up to the Friday and I thought, I just don't have it for tonight. I'll come up next week. So, that's why I didn't make an appearance on the 24th, as many people probably were expecting to happen. But that's okay. Anyway, we're back again, and we shall continue on. Thanks, Ian. Good signal from you too, by the way. Despite the lightning static, we're hearing you quite well through all that static. No worries at all, actually. Greg, VK3 Delta X-ray, VK3 EKH. Go ahead.
Yeah, good on you, Clint. VK3 EKH, VK3DX, and good evening to you there. And good broadcast there, Clint, I should say. I was thinking of Ian's signal over there in Two Wells. I thought he said Two Wells, and I was trying to work it out. And then great signal there, coming into Warrnambool. And interesting comments there, Clint, and it appears our world leaders are stuffing us about again. I give them 12 months then, Clint, I reckon, one or two of them might be gone, which would be a good thing. But we better not get political about it. We'll stick with what we can do something. Well, what we can ever do, I don't know. But anyway, good signal, Clint. You're 5 and 9 plus about 20 at times. I'm not hearing the static's not too bad. Noise level's fairly low tonight. And have you found the kitten, mate? Over.
No, I haven't. It's a bit of a worry because there's usually a chair. There's a chair and a bear over there. There's a chair over there that she likes to curl up and sit on, and she's not there. I've got these two beautiful blacks. One's slightly fluffier, and the other one's a short hair, and that's Tess. And she's normally around. She didn't come out for tea. And I've gone around with a torch just before coming on air. I was going around with a torch looking in corners and under things, and I just could not find her. I don't think she's got outside. These are inside cats, and there's no reason for them to have got outside. I do have a room behind me here which is just full of stuff at the moment. It's really hard for me to get in there, so I think she just might be curled up somewhere in that room. I might need to do a bit more explorative work in there. But if I start making noises, she's likely to hide somewhere else. Anyway, we'll find out. I'm sure she's around somewhere. I just hope she's okay, because usually when a cat goes into a dark corner and curls up, they're not well. But I did see her earlier on today when I got home, so I know she's around. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's another thing. That's another story. Okay, no worries, Greg. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Anyway, and yes, I agree. There's some pretty. I can't. Yeah, just can't believe what's happening in there in the States right now. The way that that guy is just waving his golden pen around and making some outrageous statements and really just changing things. So there's already been somebody who's suggested an impeachment could start to occur. So I tell you, I wouldn't want to be in America right now. Anyway, that's another story. All right, thanks, Greg. Across to you there, Mike. VK2 MKE, VK3 EKH.
Riding well above the state pressures and the system woodpecker in the background. Interesting content. Thank you for doing it again. I've listened to the broadcast for the last couple of years, probably on my previous PPH. I didn't have the ability to get on 80 metres, even though I could listen, I couldn't transmit. But yeah, loud and clear here into Dubbo tonight. And thanks again, VK2 Echo Kilo Echo.
Thanks, Mike. Good on you. VK2 MKE Dubbo, VK3 EKH in Narre South. Yeah, you're coming through okay. The lightning crashes just make it a bit tricky. If it wasn't for the lightning crashes, you'd be a perfect copy. But basically, I'm hearing what you're saying. So note that you say that you've been listening for a while, but in the last location, it was a bit difficult to put up a good antenna, due to lack of space, I think it was. So, but now at the Dubbo location, you're able to put up a good antenna. So excellent stuff. But look, thanks for calling in, Mike. Not a problem at all. You're in the log, so to speak. And yeah, thanks for listening in. Excellent stuff indeed. All right, is there any other stations wishing to check in tonight? VK3 EKH listening? Yeah, go ahead.
This is, Anyway, VK3 EKH, VK3GL, over.
Oh, is that you, Graham?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a cheeky lad. Yeah, go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, very good evening, Clint, and welcome back to the broadcast. I think you said that this is your second night, or your second broadcast of the year. I did listen to a little bit of it, but I've been busy at work this evening, so I haven't really had too much of a chance of digesting too much of what was being said. I apologise for that, Clint. Unfortunately, as you know, I have some Friday nights that are quite busy. Your signal here on 80 metres has been quite good. I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic tonight, so I'm actually operating the Yaesu FT7 at the moment. So I decided I'd turn this old girl on tonight, and with the amplifier on running about 70 odd watts or something like that. So good signal here on 80, a few static crashes, but generally quite okay. Anyway, back to you, and thanks for the broadcast. I can say thanks for the broadcast on behalf of everyone else who heard it, I guess. VK3EKH, VK3GL in Bunyip.
Yeah, righto, great. VK3GL, Bunyip, VK3EKH with VK3CSJ on the microphone, returning. Not a problem, Gray. Yeah, you weren't around last week. I'm not sure whether you knew that I was back. I don't think you did. But anyway, we're back. We are back. And trying to make the best of it. So I'm glad to see that I haven't dropped out on the internet. Even with the intermittent transmissions on the callback here, normally I'd fall out on. In fact, now that I've mentioned it, it'll probably fall over. But the YouTube stream and the Discord stream are still running, so I'm very, very glad to see that hasn't fallen over. But now that I've mentioned it, it probably will. Anyway, it's all very good. So g'day to the folks that are watching on YouTube, if any at all. All right, mate. Thanks, Gray. I'll leave you concentrate on your work there. But you're about 10 over 9. Not a exceptionally strong signal. But I'm only running 100 watts. It's just the standard power from the Pro 3. I normally run a linear, but because of the problem with 80 meters getting into the modem, I haven't been using the linear, which I normally do. I normally run the 400 watts here, which helps a little bit. Anyway, not to worry. All right, thanks, Gray. Is there any other stations we should check in tonight? VK3 EKH listening? Nope. All right. Okay, everybody, have a nice weekend. Look after yourselves, and we'll be back next Friday to do it all again with some interesting articles and a little bit more of an update on what Trump is doing about releasing news and information from our NASA sources, and why he's decided to try and mute the release of data on media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and whatever else there is. So it's a bit unfathomable what's going on there, but anyway, we'll see. Okay. So, all right. So, any more information about the society can be found at the ASV website at www.asv.org.au. That's www.asv.org.au for more information about the society. Information on the station here can be found on qrz.com. VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel. Just type in VK3 EKH on qrz.com for more information about the station, particularly how to sign up on Discord. The link that I provide for Discord, which as I said, is a far better way of being able to view other than the YouTube feed. My YouTube feed is VK3CSJ. Just type in VK3CSJ and look for the live symbol. I'm saying all that. I should have said that at the beginning, but it doesn't matter now. All right, I'm out of here. Cheers, everyone. Take care. Have a nice weekend. Stay cool when it's hot, and we'll see you all next week. So this is VK3 Echo Kilo Hotel, the official station. I've had the wrong ID up too, by the way. Damn, that's what I should have had up. All time had the wrong call sign on my TV screen. It's truth. Anyway, so this is VK3 EKH with VK3CSJ on the microphone, concluding for tonight's transmission on the 7th of February. Cheers, everyone. Take it easy. This is VK3 EKH. All right.
Just to clarify, 2 wells, as in 2 holes in the ground with hot water. WELLS, over.
Yeah. No worries, Ian. I think I said that actually, as in 2 holes in the ground, but it always sounds like you're saying 2 worlds. It's just because of the noise on the band. No worries, Ian. There it is. All right. So that's it for tonight. Cheers for those watching on TV. I'm glad that the internet is held in tonight, so it makes the YouTube recording worthwhile. I think that's it. I've got to go and find my black cat. I don't know where she is, but I hope she's all right. This is VK3 EKH, the official station of the Astronomical Society of Victoria, concluding with the session tonight, and we'll see you all next week. There will be a WIA broadcast on 160 meters Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, 1825 kilohertz AM. So I'm still trying to get more people to report in on that signal. I'm very interested to see how far I'm being heard around the Melbourne metropolitan area at 9 o'clock in the morning, or any further. So that's Sunday, every Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning I broadcast the WIA news, 9 o'clock, 1825 AM. Then on Melbourne television repeater an hour later. So yeah, interesting to get reports on that. Right, That's it. Let's disappear from here. This is VK3 EKH, ACA VK3 CSJ, which is where I was before. Look at that. So we shall cheers and say bye to everybody that's watching on the repeater. Thank you for viewing. To those that just don't say anything, a very pleasant good weekend to you. Let me bring up some colour bars and kill this horrible thing. Cheers, everyone.